Hello, friends. Thank you very much for joining me on the Masinga podcast show. Today, I have an amazing show for you guys. We're going to talk about Ruto economics, God economics, something powerful about money and prayer. So please sit back, enjoy, share with your friend, and let's go. Ruto, when he was campaigning, one of his popular tagline was the economy will be bottom up. We'll work with people from the kawaida mwananchi and try to bring them up. And I don't know how it's working so far. I want to wish His Excellency the very best. I have nothing but a love and respect for the authority. All right. And the reason I've said that, I feel like it's a good example for me to compare and contrast with God's economy. He said, hey, it's bottom up, mamamboga, people do mjengo job, then we build the country from, and it makes sense, right? On paper, like it makes a lot of sense. But when you look at the economy of God, it goes against the normal thinking, the logical thinking. It goes against natural thinking because actually the economy of God is from top to the bottom. And if we can grasp that point, there'll be a shift. Remember, everything has already been aligned for you. The success, the victory, everything. It's just your understanding, your perspective that's limiting you. Remember that example we've given here before, that when you're driving your car, your Mercedes, you're on the expressway, you're cruising through, let's say you're doing 130 kilometers per hour, and then the Nairobi building ahead of you. I love Nairobi. That thing towers ahead of you. It looks tall and huge. And the same building, when you're riding on a chopper, you're going to the Mara, going to the Masai Mara, it looks like an anthill. The same building, but a different point of view, different perspective. So based on how we understand, we magnify things. We process things based on our level of understanding or based on where we're standing. That's how we magnify things. We understand. They say that we understand things as we are, not as they are. The breakup, the lack of money, you not getting that promotion, someone rejecting you, the marriage working, the marriage not working, everything that's working or not working. We will sort of like view or understand it based on where we're standing. And today, that's why I want to point you to this God's economy of viewing things from top to the bottom. Just imagine the KICC. I know we have many tall buildings in the country that they've come. I don't even know them. I'm not really into buildings and stuff, but I don't think there's any building that would be more iconic than the KICC. So what happens when you're throwing a stone from down the ground to the top? Is it 27, 28 floors? What are the chances of that stone reaching the rooftop? They are few to none, right? Okay. What happens when you're casting a stone from the rooftop of KICC? You launch it from that place, going down, it will go super fast, less resistance, less effort. Come on now. And that is when God says, or when He said that, I'm going to die and resurrect for you, and said, it is finished. We as Christians, we begin our journey from up there. We begin from victory. We're not working towards victory. We pray from victory. We praise from victory. We date from victory. We go to get the job from victory. We get the promotion. We do the interviews. We get the breakup, the divorce, whatever it is, the good thing, the bad thing, from that place. That is the Christian's permanent position, a place of accepted in the beloved, a place where He says, you are a royal priesthood, a chosen generation, chosen for greater works, dignified. You've been dignified and set apart by grace. We are not working towards that, but from that place. Just imagine you viewing your finances, your life from that place, knowing that I'm working from top to the bottom, knowing that I'm sitting in heavenly places with Christ, with God. And that is where I draw my understanding about finances, about life, about career, about family, about my business, about education, about everything, from that place. Let me give you an example just to make it make sense. You look at Jesus. You have a woman who is caught up in sin. and they want to stone her, and rightfully so, according to the law, right? But there's only one person who never broke the law, and that is Christ. Everyone else broke the law. Even today, everyone breaks the law. So you have them there telling, "Hey, we found this woman. They want to cast the stone." And when you're looking from the eyes of the flesh of human understanding, she deserved to be stoned. But when you're consumed by love and grace, when you're looking at things through the lens of grace, you'll see a woman that you're supposed to love, take care of, and forgive. Yes, when you're viewing things from that place, from up here, top to the bottom, that you're living here, when that's your view, that ego vision, that defeats the tunnel vision. That takes away from you being defined by your job or not having it, by the money in your bank or not having it. That takes away power from the wrong things and only elevates the good things. Because you're seeing things like God. You're viewing things with a heavenly perspective. Top to the bottom. Even how you pray changes how you pray, how you praise, how you view people. You extend grace. When someone is mean to you, you just you just laugh it up. The reason why what people say about you and jealousy and bitterness is consuming you is because you are working bottom up. You're going the other way. You're working now the natural way, what feels right to the human eyes. But remember the ways of God are high, right? And that is what we've been called to. The moment that you fix your eyes on Jesus, it's a beautiful view. From up here, it's a different view. It's a different understanding. These things, they will never clear you or control you like they do. Oh, come on now. And being, I wanted to talk about this, being consumed. That place, you're consumed by love. Remember I said, the greatest of them all is love. The moment you're consumed by love, you have no space to glorify fear, bad things, insecurity, because you've been consumed by the love of God. It says, is it John 1:5 that God is full of his light and in him there is no darkness. There is absolutely no darkness. We can also add this, that God is only love and in him there is no hate and there's nothing, there's no second guessing. He never second guesses. Okay, do I really love Masinga? Should I really give Masinga this love? In him there is light and darkness has no chance. That place where you're consumed by his love, you're forgiving, you date easily, you're easy to love, you forgive people easily. Pettiness has no place in your heart. It has zero chance because you've been consumed, completely consumed by love. What happens the times of just going on with my day and I feel maybe just a little jealousy or bitterness or some pettiness creeping in. That moment I stop and ask myself, when did I step out of love? When did I step away from Christ? When was that? Because that's where I've lost it. That's where now I've started to magnify these other things. And I remember, hey, what he calls me, who he calls me, and how much I'm loved. And that thing serves purpose no more. Doesn't serve a purpose anymore. Remember that story I gave you over text that my colleague, I didn't like, that was 3 years ago or 2 years ago. I didn't like a certain senior manager spoke to me at work. So I got really hurt. I told my friend, hey man, I'm feeling really sour. And then after a couple of minutes, just chilling, I told him, hey, don't worry, it's that thing I told you is no longer an issue. What happened? I remembered I had stepped out of love. And in that place, my understanding was limited. And I was looking at him or the things or at the entire situation with those human eyes. And I need to be from that place where it's top to the bottom, right? Not bottom up. I'm not laboring towards richness. The reason I work is because I've been made rich in Christ Jesus. I've inherited his glory, his power, his righteousness. I labor from that place. There I'm undefeated. And the thing that makes you to have crazy unwavering faith, the thing that makes you to be bold, is the love of God. It is the unconditional love of God. When you're consumed by that love, everything, all the impossible becomes possible. Because now it's not you working. It's not you. It's not you convincing them. It's not you trying to control the outcome. It is God. And friend, he's never been defeated. He's never lost a battle. He's all knowing. Come on now, full of love. That thing, full of love. when you're consumed by love, that is even when you don't go looking for them, they just happen. The money, the good things. And when they don't happen, now it's a good thing. You still chill. Why? They don't define you. They don't. Whether they work or not, they don't define you. So hey, oof, man, I'm liking this. This is speaking to me. This one here cuts through him. It's talking to me, right? So it is God's unconditional love that it is the removes. Oh, come on, Masinga. It is the unconditional love of God that charges us to have that bold faith. It is the unconditional love of God that removes the doubt and the fears and the insecurities. He only magnifies the good things. And that is why you only need to see Jesus. See Christ alone. In your career, in your marriage, in your life, see Christ alone. In my, I pray this a lot every day, that in this house, it's only you, Jesus. You're the only one that is good, and nothing else. Yeah, and with that now understanding, imagine you going to go and pray with that understanding, like what Christ did when he said it is finished. He told you, hey, go and live life from that. Remember, as Christians, we're beginning from a place where the job is finished. We are beginning from victory. We are starting from the end line. We're starting from the winning line. So with that understanding, then it tells you, now go and pray, go and preach the gospel, go and date, go and marry. You'll have a beautiful marriage. You'll be a good, loving father. You'll be good at work. Sorry, I know some y'all have a pet peeve for what I've just done. Oh, where's my handkerchief? I need an assistant, y'all. I need an assistant to be handing me tissues. Like, hey, there you go, boss. There's some lemon tea to clear your voice. Hey, but this is for now. It's just a solo thing. Minimal production. You guys like the set? Yeah, just minimal light work. Okay, there's someone blasting music outside. I'm hoping it's not, this microphone isn't picking. I'm just hoping so. We continue. All right, so with that understanding, then prayer is not a request for what you don't have, but a recognition of what God has done. Prayer is not a request of what you don't have, but a recognition of what Christ has done. Look at the story of Jesus when he was given the loaves and the fish. That wasn't enough. He did not go into panic mode. Oh, this little. He just said, thank you, and gave it to them. He recognized more what he had than what he was lacking. He was more familiar with the supply than the demand. So prayer, what's up? Yo. But how are you guys going to know that I'm living in the Kikuyu neighborhood? Canvas do that too? Maybe. Yeah, that shrubing. So prayer is not a request of what you don't have, but a recognition of what God has provided for you. You're not paying attention to what's lacking, but what is already done. When Jesus is given the 5 loaves and the fish, like, Father, thank you. He gives thanks and proceeds to serve the people. He was more aware of the supply than the demand. So when you're consumed by that love of God, when you're consumed by love, that place where you know that this light, darkness cannot stand. In God, there's only light, and there's no space. There's no for darkness. That place when you're praying, you're more aware of what is done and not what's lacking. You're more aware of that, of what is done and not what's lacking. That place you pray differently. You pray boldly. You don't panic. Like, there's no tea here. Okay, thank you, Jesus. I know you're providing. End of story. And it sounds very simple, and it is simple because it's you're not the one doing it. He is the one who's doing it. Do you get it? Yeah. So, okay. So we just actually finishing this up. So that means when I'm in a dark corner in a bad place, I will acknowledge who I am and who is on my side. That is God, and not the issue, not the sickness, not the lack, not the trouble, but who I've got. That is going to be my focus. I'm focusing on what's lacking. What time of that? rapper. I used to listen back in the day. Or rather, I came across that song. Jake Holly said that it's a girl, don't focus on what's lacking, focus on what you're packing. Oh, come on now. Huh? You guys know when you listen to this podcast, you're going to get some buzz. Focus on what's packing and not lacking. Mhm. So, being consumed by the love of God, by His grace, by His goodness, your focus becomes only Him alone. You don't focus on what the doctors are saying, on the economy, on what's wrong, on what you're doing right. You focus on Him, you magnify Him and Him alone. So we easily focus on what's working. We don't pay attention to what's not working because of Him. He says, take my burden, it's easy. By your own strength, it's gonna be a struggle. But with Him, it's a light burden. There is no struggling. All right. So let's see the last thing here. Oh yes. Now, even about money, when you're in that place, when you know that God has got your back, and a friend of mine mentioned this to me the other day. What's up, Mish? My very good friend from Burundi said that money, money is valuable when you're spending it. Money is valuable when you're spending it, not when you're holding on to it. And sometimes we hold on into money and things because of that scarcity mindset. We think like, oh, it's going to run out. What will I eat tomorrow? What will happen? Too many, because you're trying to be in charge and in control. But when you're consumed by His love, when you're in that place, you've allowed His love to take charge. You spend money fearlessly and with wisdom. I'm not saying you become financially illiterate or irresponsible. Yeah, irresponsible. But the spending is, you have no fear. You ever seen a girl, let me give you of a little girl and the dad loves that girl very much. That girl, she ain't scared of anything. She can jump up the couch. She can, ever seen how babies jump from the bed? They're not scared. They know that their father has caught them. That's how simple it is. When you're spending, when you're doing your maths, there's absolutely no fear because it's coming from Him, not you. But the reason why there's that limitation, that fear, that scarcity mindset is because you are the one in charge. You're trying to control the narrative, the outcome, how they see you. The perception, your reputation, you're the one in charge. But when you let go and allow Him to be in charge, it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. There you are undefeated. When you're no longer in control, you're undefeated. Allow God to be in charge of everything. You spend money fearlessly. Yeah, weka hiyo. Ongeza pia hiyo hapo. Yo, man, I wish I could show you. The time I was doing a little, goals, writing things I want to achieve. I was like, okay, this is what I want. And that time I was doing kidogo hesabu, and I was like, oh, my father in heaven, and I'm here budgeting small money. No, I changed and started writing big money. Hey, because He's the one who's going to provide. Hey, this is what I want, this car, I want this. I just roll it down, and I know that it's already happened, and the Father will make it happen. So the focus becomes Him. The focus is not the lack, but what we've got, and that is Jesus. All right, so I hope this makes sense to you guys. I'll see you all for the next one. Thank you for joining this Masinga podcast experience. Please subscribe, like, share, comment. I'll see you for the next one.